everyone, and welcome to this week's video. Today we're going to be talking about note-taking. I know that we've done a little bit of this with keyword outlines in the past, but now that we're working on a research report, you're going to need to focus a little bit more on narrowing down your subject. And so I'm going to give you an example using an article that I found on C.S. Lewis. Now, as you can see, the article is here, and more likely than not, you can't really read it, but that's okay. I'll read it out loud to you. So this is about C.S. Lewis, as I mentioned, so let me go ahead and read the first paragraph to you. Clive Staples, C.S. Lewis, was born on November 29, 1898 in Belfast, Ireland. He died on November 22, 1963, the same day as President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. He had only one sibling, a brother named Warren, who was 3 years older and with whom he remained friends all of his life. C.S. Lewis's earliest memories involved endless books in the study, dining room, cloakroom, and the bedrooms, and piled as high as his shoulders in the attic. On one of the often dreary days, time would be spent in reading and in imaginative games involving dressed animals and knights in armor. These were the subjects of his first novel, Boxen, written at the age of 12. Now, as you can see, there's a whole lot of information going on here. There's stuff about C.S. Lewis as far as his birth date, when he died, the fact that President Kennedy died on the same day, he had a brother, things like that. But the thing is, if you think about my thesis statement, which is C.S. Lewis is one of the greatest authors of the 20th century, you're going to notice that a lot of this doesn't really have anything to do with it. Okay, so it's interesting when he was born. Does it really have anything to do with it? Not really. I don't think I really need that information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at this paragraph and pull out just the information that I need. So let's see. If we take a look at this, we've got C.S. Lewis's earliest memories involve endless books in the study, dining room, cloakroom, in the bedrooms, and in the attic. So because this is interesting to me, I'm going to use it. So there we go. It adjusted. All right. So under the number 1, I'm going to go ahead and write down a couple of key words. So I'm going to use earliest memories. And I'm also going to choose endless books. And I'm going to put it in quotation marks so that way I remember that this is something that I probably want to use as a full quotation. All right. So the next thing that I probably want to talk about is where. What was going on with these endless books? Well, it tells me in here that on the often dreary days, time would be spent in reading and in imaginative games involving dressed animals and knights in armor. So for my second thing, I think I want to write that when it was dreary, I like that word, he'd spend most of his time reading and playing games. All right, the next one, let's see. Well, in the end of that sentence, we talk about the dressed animals and knights. So because these are a lot of things he wrote about or played, with, I'm going to go ahead and write those down. So we got dressed animals, which again, it's something kind of specific, so I'm going to put it in quotation marks, and knights. All right, now the next thing that I want to note is that he wrote a novel called Boxen when he was 12 years old. This is basically the start of his writing career. So, he was 12. Novel, Boxen. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to sort of figure out what is this about. If I were to use this in a paragraph, what would be the most important thing about this whole thing? So, I'm going to use, well, the whole thing is about Lewis's earliest memories and how he started writing. So I'm going to use this. Lewis, let's see, he began writing when he was young. Now, while this isn't a paragraph on its own right now, I can use this, I can tweak it, I can change the order of things, I can play with it, but this gives me something that I can start working with for my fused outline when I make it. But this is a good keyword outline based off of just that first paragraph. So that's basically all I'm looking for. I want you to look at your sources, figure out exactly what it is that relates to what you are writing about. Not every interesting fact, but just the most important ones that have to do with your thesis statement. And then write them down in keyword outline form. Doesn't matter if it's real pretty or not. It's just enough to help you remember what you read, so that way you're ready to go when it's time to write. Let's see, you're also going to write down where this came from, because that's very important. So I need to write C.S. Lewis, oops, there we go. And it's called His Life and Works. I would also include who wrote it and where I found it at on the internet. Or if it's a book, you write the book name down. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. But this is just a basic idea of note-taking. Have a wonderful week, guys.